Good morning, good evening, good night, depending where on the world you are. My name is Scott Center. I'm joined by my co-host Ed Allison Wright, and this is Centerpiece. Today we've got a edition I've been looking forward to. Got my dear friend Thomas Young, who is the CEO of World Trade Center Philadelphia, and he'll be hosting the Global Business Forum in April. And it's one of the most highly anticipated forums that we've ever had. Philadelphia is truly going to be the center of the world. They're going to be hosting the World Cup. They're the defending Super Bowl champions, which is why I wore this Philadelphia Eagles green in your honor. And also it's going to be the 250th anniversary of the birth of this nation, the United States. So much is happening in Philadelphia, and anybody who is a member of the World Trade Center Association and this network can be a part of it by coming to the Global Business Forum in April. And I urge everybody who's listening, who's not yet a member of the World Trade Center, go to your local World Trade Center and become a member so you can be part of this. And we're going to talk about all that. But first, I want to talk about Thomas Young. He has an amazing story. And Thomas, can you let our viewers know where you came from and how you got to be where you are? Just a little of your backstory, please.
Yeah, and first and foremost, I'd like to thank you, Scott, and you, Ed, for having me on Centerpiece today. It's truly a privilege to be on today. So thank you for having me on.
Pleasure.
I will say though, Scott, that my background and my growing up is a little unusual, and my circumstance was unusual. I mean, not only what I mean is that, my birth was not planned. In the world where people look at you as a statistic when you're not planned, you begin to figure out what's important to you. So for me, realizing that family was important, realizing that close relatives and friends are important, was everything to me growing up. My mother was only 16 when she had me. She was still a kid herself, but she loved me unconditionally. And my grandmother, she was the rock of our family and still is. So we didn't have a lot growing up, but we had each other, which was enough for us. But I will say that growing up in one of the roughest parts of Philadelphia really makes you appreciate and love your family unconditionally. So those years really taught me two important things. First, love can override almost any circumstance that you're in. And second, when people live and love and believe in you, you start believing in yourself. I didn't realize it then. But me and my mother, we used to so just a quick backstory. My mother and I used to, I was an athlete once upon a time, and my mother and I used to play basketball when I was about 3 years old in my grandmother's living room. I had a Fisher-Price court in the living room. And, I didn't realize it at that time, but that Fisher-Price court, those moments with my mom, she was teaching me about grit, about joy, about winning, about losing. She was teaching me that, things like that you can overcome. She used to beat me a lot when I was 3 years old. It was on purpose. So just showing me those things and let me know that, no matter where you start in life, no matter where you start in the basketball court, whether it's a great place or a difficult place, you can go very far when you're surrounded by love and support and by people who can see more in you than you can see in yourself at the time.
Well, Thomas, I've got to ask as well about your big brother experience, because when Scott and I were 10, and look, whoever's the script writer this month, I'm going to have words with them because quite a lot changed.
That's why I changed my beginning.
But most of us were following, me and Scott were following cartoons and, focused on snacks. But meanwhile, you had someone stepping into your life who changed the trajectory of your education, your basketball future. Tell us a little bit about what that relationship taught you in terms of guidance and how it might have influenced the way that you mentor and lead today.
Yeah, that mentorship, big brother, big sister program, that was everything for me. And it came at the right time. My big brother, whose name is Ken Lawrence, we got matched when I was 10 years old. And at the time, I needed someone who could come in and help show me the possibilities, understand what the possibilities were beyond my neighborhood at the time. And he wasn't a guy who would come in and preach to me or pretend like he had all the answers, but he was just simply present. And it's something that I talk about today. He showed up every single time and was really the first male figure in my life to show me consistency and show me what consistency looked like. So he's the greatest male. To this day, he is the greatest male role model and mentor that I've had. So I will say that that's where that mentorship took me. Going to high school, just to give another quick background about me and my life. He was the one who made going to Plymouth White Marsh, which is a high school in the suburbs of Philly, possible for me. At the time, I was going to an inner city school that wasn't the best school, and he went to my mother at the time and said, "Look, we've been matched for 5 years at this point. We have a great relationship. I want him to live with me just to see how my everyday looks, so that he can see what I go through on my day-to-day basis." And a lot of that built the pillars that I stand on and that I live on today. But more than the opportunity that he gave me, he taught me what steady mentorship looked like. Today, whether I'm leading my team or speaking to young people in Philly, I try to be that same kind of presence. I don't want to be the one that pretend to know all of the answers that's needed, but I am one who shows up on a daily basis, who listens, and who stay long enough to try to make a difference.
That's great. And when you're talking about your basketball with your mother, you said that she beat you. What you meant, she beat you in basketball. She literally she beat you. So can we talk about basketball a little bit? You've got quite a resume that reads like a highlight reel. And you played in Europe at Hamburg. You played UMBC and IUP. What did basketball teach you, just beyond winning and losing? What did you gain from that experience? And how does that help you transition into politics and business?
Honestly, basketball shaped me more than any classroom ever did. And that's just being God honest truth. Basketball taught me how to lose with dignity. It taught me how to also win with humility as well. But it also taught me to think strategically in real time, to read situations quickly and make decisions. And then you also have to trust the people around you. There's no I in team. That's one of the staples that we were always taught in basketball, and that everybody has a role on the court, whether you're the first man, the starter, the star of the basketball team, or if you're the 12th man on the bench. Everybody has a role to play when we're trying to reach the ultimate goal, which is success. So all of that became extremely useful for me later in politics and later in the business world. And much of my leadership style was born on the court, and not behind a desk. So I'll try to lead my team that way, and I think that my team responds very well to my type of leadership right now.
And speaking of those unexpected turns, Thomas, and Scott alluded to it as well. What got you that first jump into politics? You obviously go from coaching basketball, joining a friend's campaign. That's a big jump. As the youngest chief in staff in all of Pennsylvania, I mean, that's not a small title either. What did that moment or that whole situation feel like to you?
But I knew that once I was done playing basketball, I needed to figure out what the next step was. And that next step for me was always, I wanted to help people. Wasn't sure how I wanted to help people, but I knew that I wanted to help people in their current situation. So it began with me with coaching basketball and thinking that I wanted to help the next generation on the basketball court. But then it quickly changed to something bigger. And honestly, getting into politics, getting in to be the youngest chief of staff in the state at the time, it just felt surreal. I remember thinking someone's going to walk in and tell me that they hired the wrong guy. But my
imposter syndrome.
My boss at the time, her name is Donna Bullock. She trusted me and gave me a lot of rope and a lot of room to learn, to try, to fail, and to get back up and try again. When we first came in, we came in together, and I'll never forget it like it was yesterday. She said to me, I am new in this role. You are new in this role. We're going to learn together. We're going to grow together. And we're going to fail together. So that really meant a lot to me, and it gave me an opportunity to have a crash course in leadership. I learned how cities and states work, how decisions are made, how to build coalitions, and really how to stay calm under pressure. When you're working in politics, when you're working in government, there's a lot of things moving all at one time, and the ultimate opportunity and the ultimate goal is to stay calm under extreme pressure. But I also learned that I also learned that humility and curiosity can take you further than pretending like you know everything. Being the youngest chief of staff in the state was not easy for me, but it did teach me more in 5 years than I could possibly learn in 20 years.
Yeah.
That's great. Ed mentioned imposter syndrome, and Thomas and I at the Member Forum in New York a couple of years ago, we listened to a great speech by our board member from World Trade Center, Savannah, Joyce Roche, who wrote a great book about the imposter syndrome. And Ed, if you don't have it, I'll bring you a copy in Istanbul when we meet for our board meeting in a week. So then you jumped into the private sector, and you had another great mentor, the Commerce Director, Mr. T. Epps. How did he help you, and how did you learn? How did you shift into realize that you're a person who could be a CEO and run an organization in one of the greatest cities in the world and run World Trade Center, be CEO of World Trade Center, Philadelphia?
Yeah, Harold is, again, we talk about guiding lights in my life. Harold is another guiding light in my life. So after I was done working at in the government and politics, I moved over to the private sector where did some lobbying to governments, but I also worked with businesses in the private sector. And Harold, being a former commerce director for the city of Philadelphia, he met with a plethora and got to know, and he was a former CEO prior to being a commerce director here. He was a CEO here in the city of Philadelphia. So he has a very, very large ecosystem. So in the private sector, I started learning that broader ecosystem, outside of government. I met CEOs who were building things, solving problems, and creating jobs, which to me, that is the love language that I always want to talk about, is how can we solve problems? How can we create jobs? How can we make the future better? Not just for us, but for everyone that's part of our whole entire ecosystem, whether we're at World Trade Center or elsewhere. So listening to them, I really realized that I cared about things that they did. Again, talking about growth, talking about opportunity, and talking about the impact that you can have on your respective community. And it was during that time that I understood how international trade, business development, and government all connected. That intersection is where World Trade Center Greater Philadelphia lives, to be honest with you. So, when the opportunity eventually came for me, it felt like everything I learned, from basketball to politics to partnerships, all lined up in a way that made complete sense.
So, like you just said, eventually that phone call comes, and then the search firm asks you to consider becoming a CEO. You say no. They call you again. Your wife, who I hope you don't mind us saying, that you affectionately call the big boss,
Yes.
says that you should think about it. Next thing you know, you're the third CEO in the organization's history, and obviously, following some big steps as well from the previous CEO who all of us knew. When you walked into that job on day one, what guiding principle do you think you sort of carried with you from what you've explained so far?
Yeah, my guiding principle was really simple. I wanted to honor the legacy of those before me while bringing fresh ideas that reflect where the world is going. So Linda had done tremendous work prior to me getting here. I was on the board first, so I knew kind of some of the work that Linda was doing and all of the great things that she did during her tenure. And then Joanna Savitas, who was the original president and CEO, she built this foundation that we have here in Philadelphia. So I wanted to respect that history, but also bring new energy, bring a new network that wasn't necessarily involved before, and just bring a different mindset of focus that was focused on growth. I also remember where I came from. I know what it feels like when someone believes in you. So I try to lead with trust. I want my team to feel empowered, to take chances, to innovate, and to know that I have their back and understand that the same way a former boss told me is the same way that I tell my staffers, is that, we're building this thing together. We're learning together. We're growing together. We're going to make mistakes together. So never feel like you can't take a chance, and never feel like you're being held back from reaching your full potential, because the growth of this organization and the growth of our network at the World Trade Center Association is what's most important. I think that we have a great crew intact right now that's really following and leading the charge on a lot of those things right now.
Brilliant.
Great. Okay, let's talk about the Global Business Forum now. You've been very generous sharing your background, but this event's coming up. It's one of the most highly anticipated Global Business Forum we've ever had, because of all the things that are happening in Philadelphia and because of all the great work you've done and your team. So it's It's now Saturday, April 25th. The newspapers are out. The whole city is buzzing. The whole country is buzzing. The whole world is buzzing about the Global Business Forum.
Yeah, and then let's think. People are going to be talking about who attended, what partnerships were formed, the energy in the room, global attention, local pride, Philly cheesesteaks, of course, the deals that may have been started in the hallway while some people had coffee and that Philly cheesesteak in the other. But Thomas, take us there. Tell us how you hope that Saturday morning will feel for you and for your team.
Well, first and foremost, I hope that we're all taking a deep breath after such a great event. But I hope it feels like Philadelphia stood tall on the global stage. I hope people are talking about the quality of our programming, the international delegations that came to this Global Business Forum, the connections that we facilitated. And I want the articles to say that Philadelphia showed leadership, innovation, and the true value and connectivity of the association. We're working on getting some of the biggest names in Philadelphia to be a part of this Global Business Forum and really show off all of the great attributes that we have as a city, but also show a lot of the great attributes that we have as an entire network at the World Trade Center Association. And for those delegates who stay after the Global Business Forum and join the mission to New York City and Washington, D.C., they would have seen something even more powerful. They would have understood how strategically positioned Philadelphia really is, how we are so close to the world's financial and political capitals, and how we serve as a true hub for business, tourism, culture, and life itself. Philadelphia is really a gem. I talk about it all the time. Like, there is no place in the world, I believe, that is like Philadelphia. It's often understated, but impossible to ignore once you experience it. So I really hope people notice what it meant to have both the mayor of Philadelphia, which is our first female mayor in our history, and our 100th mayor, and our governor of Pennsylvania, who's a tremendous governor, both Mayor Sherrell Parker and Governor Josh Shapiro, to have them present at the Global Business Forum and to have them talk to our network and to see the power and the strength of our network, and see where we're trying to take not just Philadelphia, but the entire trade organization and entire businesses that deal with us, where we're trying to take this. Their presence show alignment between political leadership and the business community. It sends a message that our city and our state are united in building something ambitious, international, and future-facing. This kind of alignment to me matters. So it tells the world we're serious, we're coordinated, and we're ready to lead. And for my team, just really quick, because I don't want to go too long, but for my team, I want that Saturday to feel like a moment of pride. I really like a moment of pride. Like, I want them to wake up. Like I said, we're going to be a little tired, but I want them to wake up smiling, thinking like, man, we really pulled this off. We made something big happen for our city, which has never been done before in our city in terms of the international business presence that will be in Philadelphia. And I also want them to feel proud of how they represented the World Trade Center Association family. Our WTCA family is the most important family to us because, again, it shows the power of our network. It shows the power of our connectivity and how we help move businesses around the world to help them grow and expand. So pretty much because when we succeed in Philadelphia, in my opinion, when we succeed in Philadelphia, it's really going to show the strength of the network, the entire WTCA network. So just want them to feel like they contributed not only to our region, but also to the global business community that believes in the connections, that believe in the collaborations and helping businesses grow across all borders. And if they celebrate by sleeping until noon on that Saturday, I only consider that a sign of a great job that we've all done and a sign of a great job that my team have done building this.
That's great. I know they're going to do it right. You do everything right. Your mother did it right when she played basketball with you and didn't let you win. And you did it right when you played miniature golf with my son Leo and didn't let him win. So I know everything's going to be fantastic. I'm so looking forward to visiting with you and with Philadelphia and this Global Business Forum. And hearing you talk, you're not just building business. You're not just building World Trade Center. You're really building people is what you're doing. And good job.
I mean, we're obviously excited to see what's coming next, and all of us will be there to experience it. But we're excited both for Philadelphia, but also for the WTCA family. But we can't end the interview without at least addressing what some of us will think is probably the most pressing question of the GBF. And Chanel insists that we asked it. And that is essentially, Thomas, what's the ice cream flavor going to be for the forum?
Oh, that's a great question. So I will tell you that I actually just talked to one of the representatives over. It's called Bassett Ice Cream, which is one of the oldest. I can't remember if it's the first or second oldest ice cream parlor business in the country.
Wow.
But we just talked to them about the ice cream flavor. So they are excited. I won't reveal it yet. We'll still keep it under wraps. So you'll have to wait and see. I promise you that we will reveal it before the Global Business Forum. We just won't reveal it today. We'll get a couple more people signed up before we reveal it. But we also will have an opportunity, and I'll close with this. We'll have an opportunity to do something along the Rocky Steps, where Rocky Legendary ran up the steps as well, which is right about 3 or 4 minutes from our office as well. We have something called the Ben Franklin Parkway. It has all of the flags of every country in the world lined up along the parkway that leads up to the Rocky Steps. So we'll have a chance to see that, and we'll have a chance to see all the great cultural things that we have here in Philadelphia and the great diasporas that we have here in Philadelphia that represents a majority of nations across the world right here in Philadelphia. So I won't give away that ice cream recipe yet. They do have me taste testing some samples, but right now
someone's got to do it. Tough job.
Yeah, somebody has to take the pressure and do it. So when I talk about handling pressure, that's the pressure that I'm handling the most, is figuring out how good the ice cream flavor is for our Global Business Forum in 2026.
Brilliant.
Well, you talk about diaspora. One diaspora that is in Philadelphia that I cannot let this centerpiece end without mentioning it is the diaspora from the University of Georgia. I've got these little
Dogs
who are dominating the Philadelphia Eagles and making them the great team they are. So go Dogs. And thank you very much, Thomas and Ed, and wherever you are in the world. Make sure you come to this Global Business Forum. Join World Trade Center if you haven't already. And good night, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where in the world you are. Thank you.
Thank you.